Welcome to our weekly live stream. This time we're gonna do Infinite Archives, one of the newer additions to ESO. First off, let's start with what it is and where it is. It is located in Apocrypha Zone. It's part of base game, so regardless of what you have access to, you will be able to see it here on the map. Let's just travel there. The basic concept of Infinite Archive is that it's, as the name says, infinite. It goes on forever if you're strong enough for it. You have 3 lives, and you can continue as long as you have those. So how long it is, that simply depends on how well you do. This is the lobby for the place. It's meant for 2 players, but you can play as 1 if you want. Depends on how tough you want it. You have 3 lives in here when you start out. You can buy some upgrades to get a 4th. If you play 2 and one of you die, that doesn't count as losing a life. You both have to die for a life to be lost. Infinite Archives is structured around stages, cycles, and arcs. A stage that is a round, so to speak, a fighting round. You fight a certain number of enemies, then the round ends, you fight a new one, and every 3 rounds you have completed a cycle. All cycles end with a boss, so the regular stages are trash mobs, and the final round in each cycle is a boss. Bosses are from everywhere in the game, delves, trials, whatever, and it's completely random what you face, so you never know which boss or which enemy. When you start, you're gonna meet this guy. He's gonna have an intro quest for you. But once you've done that, he has a daily repeatable for you. This ghost over here also has a daily repeatable. The first here is gonna be to clear 5 cycles. The first is always just clear 5 cycles. Because at the end of the 5th cycle, you're gonna meet the final boss in here. That's the only one that's unique. Foad Replicanum. She's unique to Archives, and she's a pretty tough boss. Each time you complete a cycle, the next cycle is going to be a little bit tougher. Little bit more health and damage to the enemies. Over time you also have more and more enemies. Alright, let's grab a daily quest. And let's get to it. So once you start, you simply go in here. As I said, enemies are pretty completely random here, and the same goes for rooms. This is one of the newer rooms they added where people, you can't really stand still. If you stand still, you're gonna get burned. You'll see a floating blob of ink in here, and once you enter that circle, the round starts. Some enemies are gonna spawn, and then you fight. I use an extra tool in here called Infinite Archive Helper. That's why you'll see things like the text sphere or the blue marking on the head of the enemy. That's not actually part of the base game. That's because I use an add-on to help keep track of things. At first it's pretty easy, just a few enemies at a time. Once you get further in, you're gonna have a lot more enemies to deal with. Every time you completed cycle 5, you have killed Foad Replicanum boss. That completes an arc. And once you clear an arc, things get significantly more challenging. From arc 1 to 2, the enemies get 40% health boost. From each arc, the Infinite Archive boss is Foad. She's gonna evolve until you get arc 4, and then she's gonna stay like that. Right now we're just seeing pretty simple enemies, but when we get further in, they're gonna get more complex, more tough. One of the keynotes, if you want to go far in Archive, is being tanky. Because once you get further in, there are going to be so many enemies hitting you. If you don't have a lot of defense and health, you're not going to survive. But for now, it's just Arc 1, so no need to think about that yet. Okay, now it is time for the first boss.
Don't forget to make your choice before
Forgot to
traveling
mention,
to the
each
next
time
room.
you a round ends, or a stage ends, you're gonna get a book here. And you get to choose a verse. A verse is a bonus for the next round and the next round only. For instance, bash an enemy, make everything explode with massive damage. Increase bonus to dodge roll, or as we're gonna choose here, a tempest that's gonna blow everything with lightning. Those verses only last for one round, but they can be pretty powerful. The boss arena is a bit different from all the others. As you can see, there isn't a fence, so you can't be blown over the edge. So make sure you keep your fight in the middle whenever possible, so you don't get blown out. The countdowns, that's my add-on again. It shows me the timing of the heavy attacks, so I can better keep track of it. If you don't have it on, it's gonna be normal, where it doesn't show you. That completes the first cycle. We had 2 trash rounds and a boss round. Now we get a reward chest.
Master Malchus calls these things
Every
limit
boss
fragments,
gives a
but
reward chest.
it's more likely that they're paleo
And that's
limit
kinda
fragments.
where you get all the goodies.
Just informing you.
You get what's called archival fortunes. These. They're account wide, and you can use them to buy stuff in here. You also have you get some loot like this. They can be from all over the game, or they can be class sets like this. Class sets are only found in here, nowhere else in the game, and they only work with that class. So if you're a Templar, and then you're gonna find a Templar set, and then you can in the other place that only Templar here. Once we clear a boss round, we get to choose what's called a vision. A vision doesn't just last for one round, it lasts for the entire run until you clear out, until you lose all your lives. They're not necessarily as powerful, but they can help a lot. I'm gonna choose this one because that fits with my build, because I don't use my ultimate, but if I did, then I might choose one of the others. If you press F5 at any time, you can see how you're doing. I'm on at the end of Arc 1, Cycle 1, Round 3. And you can see your visions. Same goes if you have a verse active, you can see it there. Now we're starting the next cycle, so it starts over. 2 rounds of trash mobs, and then 1 round with a boss. When you get to Arc 2, there's going to be a new mechanic that's going to show up, and that is a Marauder boss. Marauder bosses are bosses that spawn randomly during a trash round. So you're fighting, and then suddenly you have a boss to deal with as well. They can be pretty nasty and tough to survive. Some are worse than others, but all of them can be pretty challenging. But they give rewards same as a boss round, so it's a good thing to, if you can fight them, it's a pretty good thing to see one. There's only 1 per arc, and they don't show up in Arc 1. They only show up from Arc 2 forward.
Never fear! The cavalry has arrived!
If you die to a Marauder, it won't come back for that arc. then it's gonna wait for the next arc before it shows again. So if you can't fight the Marauders, that's fine. Just let yourself die and move on from there. If you at some point feel like, okay, I need a break, before you start your fighting, you can use this portal to go back to the lobby, so to speak. Once you have accumulated some archival fortunes, you can spend them in here. There are 3 stores, 2 with a fixed inventory, the same every week, and 1 that rotates. The fixed ones,
Hello.
these 2 guys, they sell random loot, which is these class sets, and the other one sells upgrades and furnishings and pouches of materials, as well as style pages. Once you've unlocked some achievements here, you can buy upgrades. One of them, for instance, is an extra life. The other is this awesome little pet I have here. This summons a Watcher that's gonna fight with me. If he dies, he respawns automatically. If I die, I just have to remember to spawn him again. Some of the rewards in here also include a lot of antiquity leads for mythics, as well as some unique furnishings. The style pages are also class specific, so if you find a Templar page, only a Templar can use it. You can also use these archival fortunes to buy some extra help in here, which is these mystery verses. You can take 1 per cycle, and that means that you can now have 2 verses, not 1, in the next round, which can be a big help. One of them is not purchasable, but can only be found through the daily, as a reward for the daily quest. But they're so overpowered, so that makes sense. It's a transformation verse. As you can see, I suddenly look different. I've transformed into one of the Marauder bosses, so I'm gonna be absurdly overpowered for this round. As you can see, there's no point in using my rotation. Everything just dies. You can still die within this form, but you're a lot more difficult to kill. And you give a lot more damage. You don't choose what you transform into, it's one of, like everything else, is randomized. The only downside to the transformation versus are you can only use 1 per complete run.
This is salvageable.
So if I do 6 arcs, that's it, that was my only use of this. If you are grouped in here and you leave the group, you will get kicked out, and it will reset for you. So if you've done a long run and one of you are leaving, don't leave the group. If you aren't looking for doing long runs in here, but you are looking for getting some archival fortunes, what you can do is simply the first 3 rounds, 1 boss, and then you can reset the instance. And you do that in the lobby here. If you touch that, it resets, kicks you out, you can start over. That way you can do the first cycles over and over. That was the basics of Infinite Archive. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, Venglos, either in game or here in Discord. Thank you for now.